IVIS Group is an English company with presence in Asia. I started the business in the UK in 1994, opened the office in Kuala Lumpur 2007, in Beijing 2012, and we just opened our office in Singapore here last month. We do only one thing, and that is multi-channel. We've been working with Tesco.com since their inception. There's lots of lessons to learn from the second largest retailer in the world. But we also work with various other department stores and fashion related. And these sectors will basically be all interested in one thing, which is how to tap into this customer-centric lifestyle retailing in order to increase their revenue streams. 1996, something happened, and what has happened was a new entity was born, and this entity is called Tesco.com. So 7 people, and I was lucky enough to be one of this 7-person team back then. And when this venture was started, no one really knew how big this is going to be. And we achieved 4 orders on that first night of trading, November 1996. Fast forward to today. Today we have 14,000 orders per hour. So from 4 orders to 14,000 per hour. We had £300 first night of trading. Today it's a £3.3 billion business. What I'm going to talk to you today is how we went about this. How did we go about this? And what have we learned working with the second largest retailer in the world to achieve this? Some of you might be asking why we're talking about food. Tesco is not food. Tesco is a community. Tesco is, for every £8 spent in the UK, £1 goes to Tesco. It's very important to understand how a venture that begins, even parent company, didn't really know how far this is going to go, and then 18 years later to become a world leader and actually taught as a case study in many MBA programs around the world. We hit a different challenge, different problem, from trying to convince people that they can do shopping online against all the barriers, to be able to scale the operation, to add partnership and alliances. And this is important to transform from product retailing to lifestyle retailing. When you talk about multi-channel, this means you are transacting through stores, online, mobiles, social. It's a B2C, it's a C2C, it's affiliates, flash sale, customer service. TV, you can watch Korean drama and you can buy the merchandise they're wearing. The diagram on the right-hand side basically is there to show this is no longer about retail only. Others are intruding into your space, so change is absolutely necessary, otherwise you won't survive. This is Burberry, flagship store, Regent Street. You walk into Burberry, you will see probably one of the largest digital displays in the world. The best way to describe the store is the physical manifestation of their website. You have high-speed lifts because internet is fast. When you ask an assistant for inquiry about stock, immediately you get the answer. iPads everywhere. You pick a dress, you go to the dressing room. The walls change into screen. They play a catwalk video to show how the dress that you picked is actually worn. So that's huge, you know. And if you absolutely go to London, make sure you go to Regent Street to see Burberry. And after you visit Burberry, go to Kensington. And in Kensington, get acquainted with F&F, what used to be known as Fred and Florence. This is the fastest category, the biggest category for Tesco today. This is the Tesco brand, although they are trying to keep a distance because they are trying to go an upmarket positioning. The interesting thing for me is Burberry have achieved a lot in going for a strategy that extends their traditional target segment to also include a younger segment, a younger generation. F&F are trying to take the brand from where it is today and position it upward. The common factor between both of them is they are both using multi-channel approach to achieve this. This is Tesco today. 2014 an omni-channel business that is removing the barriers between the online and the offline, reinventing themselves to be completely customer-centric across all channels. And for the second largest retailer in the world to do this, that's, I hope you agree, that's a very brave and a big step. In conclusion, this industry is all about creativity. This creativity should also extend to strategy, to business, to taking tactical analysis. As we move into the future, we need to be a lot more strategic in how we approach, deal, manage people, process, and technology. The combination of what happened in digital world with the consumer's behavior and socioeconomics has completely changed the way we shop. Shoppers are expecting today a high level, a high degree of personalization, of service, and a genuinely integrated approach across all channels. I don't see a better ending than Nelson Mandela's. It always seems impossible until it's done. Thank you. The title of today's lecture, I'm going to talk about the three giants, BAT, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and talk about some of the recent acquisitions, activities, movements in the market, and then to try to position this within a wider context, and then basically outline how the evolution from multi-channel perspective in China is happening compared to, say, what's happening in Europe and the States. So I'm going to talk to you about what kind of challenges we faced over the past 20 years with Tesco and with our own innovation, and just share with you some of the insights, lessons we've learned. Retail in China, unlike, say, Europe, wasn't really established by powerful retailing foundations. Retailing was, to a large extent in China, influenced by property developers. They have a piece of land, they create malls, they create shops, and basically they hand over that responsibility to foreign brands and others to come in. So the kind of strong foundation that you will see in Europe, giants like Tesco, Sainsbury's, John Lewis, others, in China, the start was different, was more on property developers. And that remains the case in a number of ways. And you see a lot of those small owners are trying to dip their toes in the retail business, but they lack that kind of retail foundations, heritage. In addition, if you look at department stores across China, vast majority of them operate on almost exclusive concession-based model. Concession-based model means you don't own the stock. The stock is owned by the brands that represented in your store. As a result, if you go across all department stores, you basically see almost the same range, the same categories, the same products. Marketing, merchandise, supply chain, customer service, all these functions are delegated to the brands. In other words, those department stores are more landlords than they are retailers. So that's another example in terms of that kind of not strong foundation from retail perspective. You have a complicated licensing system between manufacturers and brands, distributors, principals, and so on. I'll give you an example. When Tesco arrived in China and they wanted to sell Coca-Cola, they were told by Coca-Cola they had to deal with 8 distributors, not 1, but 8. And you can imagine the kind of havoc this would create in terms of 8 distributors with 8 supply chains, with 8 different types of deliveries. And it's just complex in terms of how you go about these things. Also, the lots of relationships are very fluid in terms of distributors and principals and brands. Brands are trying to reinvent themselves to be retailers because they want to be closer to the customers, while retailers like department stores are looking for differentiation and hence are looking at ways to create that differentiation, such as private label development, which is again not something very strong in China. We've been in the business in multi-channel for 20 years. And if we were to basically summarize a framework in terms of customer journey, essentially it's 5 steps. Beginning with the customer insight, understanding your customer segmentation, why customers buy, why customers don't buy, and building that kind of information, and then moving on to lifestyle. There's a big difference between selling products and selling lifestyle. Selling lifestyle is all about alliances. Partnership is all about having synergy with other, potentially other suppliers, other portals of information, and bridging this gap between what you can offer to your customers based on your own product set, based on your data, and what the customers really want. Retail today is a continuous dialogue. It's not about the transaction only. That dialogue begins when customers are doing the research about you, the brand, the products, the services. And then this dialogue continues after the transactions when customers are sharing their stories, sharing their experience with your product, with your service, with your brand. So retailers who are winners are those who actually understand this comprehensive picture from research to transaction to sharing. And those who only focus on the transaction are missing, the big picture, basically.